Welcome to Show Me the Money Club, live Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, as it's Tuesday. You know what's good about this week, man?
Hmm.
Bills kickoff is on Sunday.
So we're back to that, huh? We're back to the
Bills
season.
season starts. High anticipation. So I'm hoping they live up to the hype, but I don't want to get my hopes up too high because we had to deal with 20 years of crap. The last 7 years have been pretty good, but you know, it's all the stuff before that. But
last year I jumped on the wagon, maybe, I don't know, about a third of the way in. This year, I'm going to jump on the wagon from the first game. I may even watch a game too.
Well, Sunday night, 8:20. That's the kickoff for the Bills. Obviously, kickoff really starts before that, but yeah, it's NFL weekend. That's for sure.
I'll be there. I'll
All
watch
right. Yes. Beyond that, how you doing? What's going on?
I had an electrical outage while I was doing an important Zoom call. It's been super hot in LA, 100 plus for the last few days. And maybe it's because of that. I don't know. But it's hot.
Well, I mean, you got all your solar panels and all your EVs and everything plugged in, and they're not putting any electricity in. So the rolling brownouts kind of seem plausible.
Possible. I don't know.
Plus with that, that 100 degree weather is definitely going to put a lot of air conditioning on.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, let's go into today's rundown, what we're going to be talking about, and that is a pretty big show. We got special guest Nicole Moore of RDU. I think it's her third time coming on, if I'm not mistaken. So she'll be on in just a few moments. Then we're going to be talking about Sergio playing that cherry picker game that we had on last week. Can you beat his score? And then we're going to be talking about the Lyft Extra Comfort Promise. Oh, what could go wrong with that? I was reading through those screenshots you sent me, and I'm just like, holy crap. And then there's the Uber Cash trip warning, an IRL example. We got the Lyft Hocus Pocus 7030. Is that explained? What's going on with that? And then we're going to be talking about, should Uber be called in front of Congress like Delta? We're also going to be talking about Uber and Lyft approve California drivers to be unionized. So is there a catch? What's going on? And Uber getting sued in Ohio for app causing driver distractions. Uber CEO says Waymos are more efficient. Zach, good old Zach, is driving fast. He was a friend of the channel who was doing delivery content, but now he's driving rideshare, made that switch, and he's breaking tipping records in Washington State. He's doing so. You might have to be that. Actually, I texted him earlier. I said, hey, what's going on? Because I haven't talked to him in a while. So I texted him to see how he's doing and all that. But
he calls me out of the blue all the time. And you know how I answer the phone?
What, boy?
Uber support.
Oh. Nice.
Yeah. I need to develop a Filipino accent. Hey, bro. What?
It's my show now.
I mean, we know what's going on. So you wouldn't surprise me.
It's my show now. I'm sorry. It's the Show Me the Money Club with Chris. No more Sergio. Right. He's been canceled.
I've been canceled.
Canceled. Speaking of Zach, there he is. What's going on?
I've been sold out. I sold out, folks.
Let's get some chicken. If anybody's listening to Tim Pool, you might want to get some chicken. All right. Well, with that being said, you know, we got a great show for you, but let's get right into it. Nicole coming on. Nicole of RDU. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
No, that's not what you said before.
I'm really mad.
There you go.
Really mad.
Nicole's mad. She's on fire. You can't tell, but she's going to spill the beans here. Nicole, welcome to the show. You're no stranger. I don't know, 3-4 times I think you've been on. Thank you for coming on. Last second, I texted her yesterday. He goes, can you come up? I goes, okay, I'll do it. So again, thank you so much. So we're going to talk about 3 things today. And then whatever else you want to do, just empty your whatever you have going. So we're going to talk about the potential billions in settlement with Uber and Lyft that are ongoing. With I think is it 3 city AGs and 1 state AG, right?
Yeah, and the labor commission.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that, the latest developments, as much as you can tell us, obviously, because I do want some of that money. Okay. And And we're going to talk about two items. One is called AB 1340, 1340, and SB stands for Senate Bill, AB for Assembly Bill, SB 371, which we talked about last week, but there has been some developments. Who better about these things than Nicole? So, floor is yours.
Yeah, we witnessed a total giveaway yesterday, or I guess it was Friday. It feels like yesterday. Yeah, I mean, people walked into a room, gave Uber and Lyft millions and millions of dollars with 371, which basically like trashes, commercial insurance. Makes me wonder if drivers are even going to be adequately protected by insurance. It's going to save the companies millions and millions.
Yep. Well,
and did the people advocating for drivers in that room, did they walk out with?
Okay. Were you in that room? Were you in that room?
No.
Was I in that room?
I don't know. Was there a driver in the room? Could the driver in the room please stand up?
There was no driver in that room. They were all back office, what do you call those? Backdoor bullshit, whatever that was. Every time I do actually approach some of these officials, I go, I would like to be in the room. I would like to be on the table, because you guys, are not drivers. You guys don't know what's going on. With all due respect, you guys know about the law, but you guys don't know about the reality on the street. And they always, shine me off. So I'm sure they go, hey, this guy wants to join. Uber goes, no, we're not going to have him in here. But anyway, so let's talk about the settlement talks. What's going on? How much money are we getting?
For the headline there, we don't know.
We don't know that either.
We know that they owe us billions and billions of dollars. I think what pissed me off last week was the $20 billion stock buyback. It's like, we know these companies have $20 billion, for stock, but they do not have it for drivers, and they took it out of our own pockets. Yeah. So, what we're really, the state, that's the Labor Commission, the Attorney General, 3 cities, San Francisco, San Diego, LA, are all in that suit to get drivers' money back from 2016 to 2020. If you drove during that time in California for Lyft or Uber, you're part of that suit. You don't have to worry about, having to sign up somewhere. You're part of it if you drove. But 5,000 RDU drivers, Rideshare Drivers United folks, filled in those claims in 2020, and 5,000 of us were owed $1.3 billion. Half of that is damages, right? But the other half is just straight pay that we should have gotten, that we didn't, straight expenses we didn't get reimbursed for. So we're owed a lot of money, especially when you think it's got to be, what do you think, you guys, like 250,000 drivers that are covered by the suit now? Like maybe 300,000?
I hope not. I hope it's some substantial amount, number one. Number two, again, like the parties who are truly interested in the settlement talks, the drivers, RDU, myself, whatever, we're not in there, right? So we don't know what's going on. Honestly, we don't want to say that we don't know, but we truly don't know. It's behind closed doors, and hopefully the city and state AGs don't bend over. That's all I can say. That's one.
And we've been there, right? Since we filed the wage claims in 2020, RDU has, drivers have met with the different agencies that are part of those lawsuits, on a regular basis. And it used to be that we could have a back and forth conversation about what's going on with the courts and that kind of thing. Now that they're in settlement negotiations, they cannot talk about what's happening in there. So they've had to pull back. But what's been great is just the outpouring of, demand from drivers not to back down on this, telling the state, and I was explaining this to folks the other day, like the state and the cities are on our side, right? They're fighting on our behalf, right? So what we're doing from the side is, it's like when your little kid's sister or brother's in a fight for the first time, and you're like, no, get them hard with the left, do this, like we're kind of telling them what to, how to fight harder, and telling them stuff like, if we get a penny less, then the next place to go is on our rates right now. Because, Prop 22 doesn't let legislation happen, doesn't let regulation happen to raise our pay. Those are the ways people have raised pay in other states, is through legislation. Prop 22 says nobody can do it, just 22. That's the only thing.
Yep.
Well, guess what? In a settlement, you can force the company to sign something that says they're gonna pay us better. So, first of all the drivers who got money stolen, we deserve our money back. And if the companies cry poor, then let's remember the $20 billion that they're giving away in stock buybacks. And let's also remember that this is our time to win. And if they're not going to give us a penny of what that we're owed, then they need to, sign off on a rate card.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one at a time.
Commission instead of 70% commission, stuff like
one
that.
At a time. Look, one at a time, I think, is the way to go. But I think, honestly, the companies since 2016. Okay, so folks, please don't email me like a million people will email me now saying, where do I sign up for this lawsuit? It's not a class action lawsuit.
Right.
If you drove for Uber or Lyft between 2016 and 2020 until Prop 22 showed up, you are part of this group. It's not a class action lawsuit. It's different. You are entitled. So don't email me saying, what do I do? That's one. Two, between 2016, Nicole, and 2020, whatever happened. We know what happened. But then from 2020 to 2025, it's 5 years. In those 5 years, whatever Uber and Lyft are going to cough up, don't they do this anyway everywhere? Right? They do the same thing. They just extend and extend and extend and extend. By the time they pay you the pennies, they already made up like 5x the money that they're going to pay you anyway. Mm-hmm. So, and the politicians don't understand that. You know what I mean? So, and we'll see. I don't know. I drove full time between 2016 and probably 2019. So I want my money. But so that's that. That's the update on that.
Yeah. And what I want to say is that drivers right now can help their little brother, sister fight harder on our behalf. Okay. We have a petition going right now. It's the top of our webpage, drivers-united.org. And it's a petition that says, make sure we get our money. Don't come back with $1 billion. $1 billion is barely a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
I mean, 1.3 billion is how much 5,000 drivers were owed.
Yeah.
So if we're really talking about 300,000 drivers, then it's a lot more money than that.
Yeah. This could be multi-billions. It really could be, depending how they calculate all the stuff. But, please, folks, for whoever's watching now and later, go to the RDU website. Please sign the petition. I actually forgot about that. But, yeah, please do sign it. Yeah. It's, you're not signing to be part of anything. Don't get paranoid. It's just a petition for the legislators. How many signatures you have to collect? 10,000?
Well, I mean, it's to put pressure on our allies who are fighting it, to say, stay strong. And, Bonta is our attorney general. He's elected. I think we have like 8,000 signatures now. We should be able to have 10,000. 12,000, right? So find everybody, new drivers, whatever. If you've signed it, great. Go get a couple friends to sign it,
Well,
we need to keep the pressure on him. He's elected.
Please go sign it, folks. And tell your friends, tell every driver knows another driver, please go sign it. Okay, that's one. Number two, we're going to, you said 300,000. I think it's a lot more than that, actually, between 2016 and 2020, because let's pivot or switch to, which one do you want to go first, AB 340, or you want to talk about it together with the 371? Because in that, everybody says there are 800,000 drivers in California. I believe it, because I think California is the Uber and Lyft's largest marketplace. So let me just refresh folks' memory. Uber and Lyft have been complaining about high commercial insurance rates forever now. They blame high fares on the riders to high commercial insurance rates. Okay, let's take their word for it for a second. They have been supporting Uber. Actually, this is public information. Uber spent $20 million in California to change the insurance laws and to get a break on the commercial insurance rates on UI, meaning uninsured, uninsured motorist, and UIM, uninsured motorist and underinsured motorist. So the limits were $1 million per occurrence. Now they want to cut that to $60,000 and $300,000. That's a huge cut. And Uber and Lyft are both saying they've been supporting this. They're saying that now we're going to have more riders because more riders will be able to afford trips because the trip fares cost on the rider is going to go down. There's not a word of if the driver is going to make more. I'm putting my money on, actually, their take rate is going to go balloon up now immensely because they're not going to pass on any of those savings. Maybe they'll pass on 5% of the savings that they're going to receive to the rider. None of it is going to go to the driver. That's my assessment. So SB 371 was agreed to, and Uber and Lyft also agreed for the drivers in California to collectively bargain. That's AB 1340. So you tell us, Nicole, what happened there? You're mad. I'm mad.
This is a legislative process. The people we elect are supposed to make laws for us, right? And so, I'm an optimist. I take that at my word, at their word. And there were, there's 20,000 drivers that are part of Rideshare Drivers United. In a lot of conversations, we decided, hey, this AB, 1340, it's kind of a different idea how to get around Prop 22. But we've been building a union for 7 years, 8 years. That's what we're doing. 1340 would give any organization that wanted to be a union the opportunity to have voters or to have drivers vote them in, and it would also mandate that the parties, being Lyft and Uber, bargain with whoever becomes the union, right? So, and then in negotiations, the companies could sign that they're going to pay us more than this dungeon that Prop 22 has assigned to us. So it's a good idea, right?
Yep.
It's a good idea. We've all watched Starbucks employees and Amazon employees who are protected by the national law because they don't have Prop 22 sitting on their neck. They've been organizing unions, trying to get better stuff happening. And they're saying, hey, the national law needs to be stronger because it's hard to get that first contract. So you think in California, where, we're a basically pro-union state, the kind of bill we would pass would be stronger than the national bill. The only reason we have to pass a state law is because Prop 22 took our rights away nationally because it assigned us independent contractor status. So let's make a bill that allows us to organize. That's a great idea. We support it, but we want it to be stronger. Yeah. So over the last couple months, RDU members, we figured out 7 ways we thought the bill should be stronger. And we've been talking to our representatives. We've been emailing our representatives. A couple of us went up to Sacramento a couple times, but, a whole load of us went up there and we said, we support this, but we want it to be stronger and here's how. There's you can look at that. It's on our website, like the 7 ways, for one thing, Lyft and Uber should be forced to talk about our wait time and our expenses when they talk about our wages. Let's just put that in there. We're not going to, because of Prop 22, this law can't dictate that we're going to have a decent wage, but it can say, you need to consider wait time. You need to consider all the expenses, so stuff like that. And we've been engaging in this. We've been talking to our legislators. One time the authors brought in, an SEIU lobbyist. SEIU is the union that backs the California Gig Workers Union, right? And they're the folks that put this bill forward. And, everybody's listening. Nothing changed in the bill. And then Friday, out of the blue, the governor has convened the companies, I'm assuming the authors of the bill, maybe, and SEIU to work out, how this bill is going to go forward. They didn't put any strengthening language in it that we know of.
No.
But they gave Lyft and Uber millions and millions of dollars with that commercial insurance bill that they've been trying to get passed. And so the governor is blessing 1340, blessing 371 with the commercial insurance, and Lyft and Uber are walking out, of this meeting like, we support unionization. Can you imagine going into a room giving multi-billion-dollar companies this huge break and not walking out with a guaranteed dime for drivers?
Yeah. But it happened. I mean, it happened, and now I know why you're mad. I mean, look, I read it. A couple of drivers already emailed me about it. Look, this, I don't know. I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. So, house always wins. Seems like the case, and I mean, in my wildest dreams, right? This definitely is an exchange, right? Okay, we give you this, but we give us that. And then governor said, yep, you got it. And that's that. Yeah, it happened. So, I mean, the final version of both bills is not done yet. It's probably done this week. But when it's out, we'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, the deal was done. They got what they wanted. They wanted SB 371. And in nobody's wildest dreams, Uber and Lyft would agree to collective bargaining or unionization of gig drivers, because we're going to have a segment once you leave, because we want to do it for our channel as well, more in detail. Look, they have something called the algorithm, right? So let's say all the unionized drivers go on strike. They have so many more drivers. The algorithm will just direct all these to the non-union drivers. That's what's going to happen. And they got a good deal, man. Want to know? Yeah. They got a good deal.
I mean, and maybe something can happen in negotiations, right? Once we get the right, maybe. Maybe. I mean, here's the thing. You can have negotiations where you negotiate with somebody and they give you what they were willing to give you. And then there's negotiations where you're going to hold the line and you're going to fight for it. And it's going to hurt them, and they're going to give you more than they were planning to give you. Those are the kind of negotiations drivers need, because these companies have been taking and taking and taking. We need to be as strong as possible. And there's a little poison pill in the bill right now, and I'm hoping that that's one of the things they do is take it out. But there's a little thing in there. There's a lot. You guys know what a company union is? Like, what makes a union a company union? If they're primarily financed by the company. Not a good deal, right? If dad's giving you all the allowance and dad says, no, you can't go out tonight, you're going to say yes to dad, right? So you don't want that to be an influence to your union. That's why in most unions, people pay dues, because it's better for you to give the funding to the organization that's representing you than to have the boss do it. Yep. So even though there's a lot of language in the bill that talks against company unionism, there's this one little piece in it that says, for a benefit that the company might give you as the union, you can receive money directly from the companies. And that's exactly what they've done in Canada. It's what they did in Washington State, where basically the companies are giving the union of record millions and millions of dollars, ostensibly to help with these deactivation clinics. But there's no rules that say that it has to be fair. It's just, they'll listen to you in these clinics. It's kind of like, but the unions are getting much more money for those clinics than it takes to run them.
Yeah.
And it influences the union. So I'm hoping that folks see that and they pull that out, because that would just be real poison pill.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out this week.
Give them millions of dollars.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So ultimately, I think we both agree. Uber and Lyft got a great deal out of this. Now comes the part to check on them just to see if what they said as far as lower rider fares is going to come true. Because, more than the driver community, I think we need to pay attention to the rider community, because they're like 10x more or 20x more or whatever, 30x more than the drivers. And once they figure out, oh, they told us our fares were going to go down, but the fares didn't go down at all. Oh, who's pocketing this money? Driver? Oh, no, driver's not getting that money. It's Uber and Lyft, right? Because it'll be pretty clear. I mean, if you look at their take rates, if their take rates go through the roof again, because they have gone from 9 to 32%, and if it goes higher and stocks go higher, all the stock options get exercised, they make billions more dollars, and then, then we'll know. But anyway, so yeah, that's where we are. Yeah, I know why you're mad, and you have every right to be mad, Nicole. So
yeah.
And I'll give you
whatever chance we have to make this better, we should. Like, I wouldn't argue against that, but let's do it the right way, California. Come on.
I mean, if we can't do it here, right? Where else is going to happen? Texas?
And New York City. New York City is still the best place to drive.
City. Well, but Massachusetts, I think it's working on, collective bargaining rights, right? We'll see how that goes. I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, they still have labor rights there. They still have labor rights. They still have minimum wage laws in place and all that stuff for them. So, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nicole, much appreciated. Thank you for coming on. We'll keep everybody posted, but we'll have you on again when we're cashing our checks.
That's right. And sign that petition so it's a big check.
Please. Yes, everybody, please sign the petition. Whoever's watching it now or going to watch it on the replay, please go sign it. You're not signing anything. You're not signing your life away. It's just send a message to Bob Bonta, who's the state AG, that there is so much support that they shouldn't sell the drivers out, basically. Yeah. That's what it is. Thank you. My hat's off to you. I hope everything else is going well. As you all know, Nicole lost her house in the fires, but she's hanging in there, and she's doing God's work for drivers and has a job on top of that. And I don't know how you do it, but my hat's off to you.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know y'all do it either. It's drivers just holding it together. So appreciate you.
All right, take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Nicole. Have a good one. All right. So yes, if you want to sign that petition, link is in the description, so you can go and check that out. And then you can sign that there. Thank you again, Nicole, for coming on, talking about what's going on there. And also, Sergio, I know you got your ear to the ground right there, especially being in California. So, yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I volunteered. I got in touch with the city AG, state AG. I offered my services for free. I go, somebody with some expertise should be in the room during these negotiations. Yeah, because look, a lot of these politicians, they get in a room with the Uber lobbyists and lawyers and this and that, $230 billion S&P 500 company, they get starstruck, man. They do. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, I don't care who you are. But long story short, hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll come to some decent resolution and they don't throw some crumbs at the drivers. But we'll see.
We all know it's going to be crumbs.
No, I wouldn't think negatively. I think it's going to be a lot of money. And it's not going to be enough money to hurt the companies because they're already got that money 5x back. Mm-hmm. But it could be an appreciable amount of money for people, especially who drove full-time between 2016 and 2020. But we'll see. We'll see.
When's that expected?
Nobody knows. Settlement negotiations are ongoing.
Ugh. Well,
Yeah.
when we hear something, we'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move to behind the wheel. You know, Sergio loves doing this behind the wheels, and so I know you want to talk about that.
Definitely want to do behind the wheel. In fact, I got an email today from a candidate, which I'm going to return his email and do it this week. So please email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. This Thursday, there is an important one dropping with a driver from Austin. He's a good friend of ours, Eddie from Austin, Texas. You know, the other thing is, if you're in a city, people, that has AVs, autonomous vehicles, because I just dropped, you know, we were going to do a driver's corner on that topic today, but, you know, full show plus a guest. We're going to do it next week. Hopefully we're going to have Ryan Green of Grindwise next week on the show. Talk about the effects of AVs, even with limited scale, are having on driver earnings. So where are AVs? San Francisco, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Austin, Atlanta now. They're testing in Boston, testing in Philadelphia. So if you're in, let's say, Phoenix, LA, San Francisco, Austin, or Atlanta, and you've already seen some negative effects on your earnings comparatively from month to month, week to week, like I know in Atlanta it's fairly new, but in Austin, when I talked to Eddie, I don't want to give it away, but you guys should watch it. Driver earnings are getting hurt badly. Even with limited scale, these AVs are there. So if you're one of those cities, email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. We'll talk about it. But it could be about anything. It could be about any crazy stories that you can put together in your 10 years of driving with 50,000 trips. It could be about any topic. Just drop me an email. I'll send you a Zoom link. We'll hop on and record. We don't edit. You can say whatever the heck you want to say. Sergio@therideshareguy.com.
All right, so let's move on. Let's talk to our first topic, and that is the cherry picker game. And Sergio, you cherry picked.
I cherry picked the shit out of it.
Can you do better?
Yeah, okay. I challenge. Okay, first of all, I thought this was going to be an easy game. No, this is not. I'm telling you, this is not an easy game.
5 seconds is fast. You think the 10-second timer on Uber is fast? No. 5 seconds is fast.
No, it's not just 5 seconds, Chris. You have to have a perfect mixture of what you're doing, because this is okay. First of all, Chris, I read the comments. Okay, this is how some drivers backwards they are. You know, we read comments, right? And they're like, they say shit that I go like, what does that have to do with anything, right? But so some said, yeah, but we don't get these types of trips. Folks, this is a game. This is to train your brain to be more profitable. That's it. Doesn't matter if those kind of trips exist or not. The purpose of the game is you have 8-hour driving time. Every time you pick a trip, it's going to add to your miles from pickup to drop off and your time. It adds up, it accumulates it. When 8 hours comes, this also considers for each mile you drove during P2 and P3, which is on your way to the driver, on your way to the rider, and to your destination. It adds those miles up, multiplies it times 75 cents, which is the IRS deduction for standard deduction for 2025. You have to be net profitable by $200 in 8 hours, not gross, net. That's the purpose of the freaking game. Bro, people go, oh, I don't have these kind of good paying trips in my city. I'm like, who gives a shit? That's not the idea. The idea is for you to be able to profit net over $200. Well, so this dude can pay his bills.
It's multifaceted. It's not just one. It's the game is designed to tell you how to become more profitable by taking a 5-second timer and seeing if the ride is worth it, because they're actually, what I like about that is they're jamming it so quickly that even if you're looking away from your phone and then look down when the ride comes in or have to switch apps or something like that, then you're going to know what is you're going to have a better idea in 5 seconds, because the time that it takes for you to look, react, and actually like figure it out and then accept or decline is going to be probably just a touch more than that. So that's a good, but then it also tells you how to figure out and think like a business. So you're making profit versus, oh, I made $300 today, but what were your costs? How much was your cost associated with driving? And that you have to find out. We talked about the profit calculator and how you can figure out your expenses per mile and how much you're actually making. And this is definitely supposed to help you figure that out. So when it comes to the game, yes, who cares what rides are coming in? It's to train you to figure and think like a business. And it's to answer one simple question. Is this ride profitable for me, or is it going to cost me money? That's what you got to take out of it.
Yeah, and you have 8 hours to be net earnings of $200 or more out of all the trips that they're throwing at you. I also did, Chris, accept everything. Accept, ran my 8 hours. You know what my net was? $145. By not accepting everything, by the way, I played the game at least 20 times so far. Only 3 times I was able to beat it. 3 times. So it's not easy, folks. And the other thing is, this is not in the app. This is a web address. So go to the video. It's under Sergio's Diaries. It's on the channel. The game address is there.
Too. Yeah, and the link is in the description also.
The link is in the description because people go on, it's not in the app. Nobody said it's in the app. You're just making assumptions that it's in the app. It's not in the app. If it's in the app, only Android users can do it, right? Because GigU is only for Android users. This is for iOS and Android. This is to train your brain. That's what I came up with.
Yeah, because it's train your brain. Same thing with the profit calculator. The profit calculator is also in web-based, so you can access it from anywhere. Whether you're on a phone, computer, it doesn't matter. So you could do both of those and help you figure out your costs associated with driving by using your car, and also by cherry picking and seeing if you're a good cherry picker or not. And then how you can improve and make it faster. So, if you're training something.
Anyway, I'm challenging you all. If you guys can beat that number, this is my highest score so far. I had 3 occasions out of probably 20 that I was over $200. It's not an easy game. 229.89. If you guys can beat that, email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. Take a screenshot of the end result of the game and send it to me. Maybe we'll send you guys something. Maybe we'll send you guys like a RSG hat or some merch or something. So first you have to beat me though. That was my score right there, 229.89. Go for it. Knock yourselves out. It's fun. Yep. It's not train your brain, folks. Yeah.
The other thing too is, it's to get you to see, yes, I made $334 in that day, but my costs associated with driving is $104. So I only actually made $229. And that is what a lot of people do not pay attention to. Yep. And I guarantee 60% of the chat, if not more, think that their earnings that they made in the day is what they made. And they don't take into account anything beyond that.
It's 334, 39 or whatever, right? Okay, well, it's not. So this calculates automatically 75 cents per mile. I'm telling you, you guys are going to fail without a question. You guys go to play it, and then once you start playing it, you can just replay it and replay it and replay it, change your tactics, maybe take some shorter trips, because there are some trips, Chris, that it looks like $50, but it's 2 hours. So it eats 2 hours of your 8 hours. You know what I mean? Because you picked all the big numbers, you're going to fail miserably. So you have to do a mixture of all this, thinking what your costs are as well. So go ahead, send them to me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. Done.
Good luck. What's going to be funny is everybody's going to be much higher than you.
Nope. Okay, I challenge you, sir. I challenge Harry. I challenge Johan. I challenge Andrew. I challenge Joe. I challenge Jay. I challenge whoever is at RSG. Play the game. Let's see if you guys can beat me. Go for it.
Sounds good. You know who I think is going to win, Jay?
Absolutely not.
I think no, because he went from accept everything, the ant of all ants, to cherry picker.
Okay, yeah, he may. Actually,
he is now, and I think he's going to be king cherry picker when it comes to the game.
Think so? Okay, well, we'll see. Just whoever does it. I bow to you. Go for it.
Well, I'll send you my screenshots then.
Okay, go for it.
All right. With that being said, let's move on. Let's talk about Lyft Extra Comfort Promise. What could go wrong with that, Sergio?
Oh, no, nothing. Nothing can go wrong with
Nothing. No, not at all. So,
you guys are aware of this yet? So Lyft goes, our comfort promise. This is to the riders, folks. This is available in San Francisco, San Diego, Inland Empire, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Charlotte, North Carolina, the Hamptons, New York, Portland, Oregon, Nashville, Tennessee, Austin, Texas. Poor Austin, Texas, bro. They get it every which way.
They're the guinea pig.
Yeah, I swear to God, yeah. So anyway, Salt Lake City, Utah. So Extra Comfort Promise says, our comfort promise, your extra comfort ride will be in a newer, roomier, not sure, and clean car. Okay. Delivered by a top-rated driver, or will cover the cost of your upgrade from standard to extra comfort, Lyft says. Report any issues through the rating screen within 24 hours after your ride ends. We'll deliver your Lyft credit to your account if you indicate that you experienced a problem with driver conduct, driving style, or car concern. Your credit amount will be the price difference between a standard and an extra comfort ride at the time you booked your ride. You can use your Lyft credit for future rides. Your Lyft credit will expire in 6 months. And then the terms are, if you're not satisfied with your extra comfort ride, you may receive a Lyft credit to use on future rides. The credit amount is this, maximum up to $30. You can receive this credit up to 5 times. Credits are issued based on the star rating you give your driver in the Lyft app and feedback related to driver conduct, driving style, or car concern. Credits may also be issued by Lyft support based on this and blah, blah, blah. So, Chris, you asked me, what could go wrong with any of this, right?
I think this is genius on their part.
On whose part?
Lyft's.
Of course.
Because if you look at it, one of the biggest things they're first off, what they're doing is they're going to, whatever the cost difference between the standard and extra comfort would come to you in a credit. So yeah, and they say up to $30. So if there's a substantial difference, you could be looking at something good. You could get the credit up to 5 times. But here's where it gets interesting, is the fact that they say credits issued by Lyft support are fixed at fixed amount of $5. So that doesn't mean you can use all your credits at one go. Yeah. You can only use $5 for that particular ride that you may have to use your credit for. So, and then they're doing it within 6 months. So you probably have a rolling thing. So if you think about it, you could have somebody complain 5 times. They're like, oh yeah, sure, we'll give you that. But then they might have, let's say, $45 worth of credits. So that means they have to get, how many rides is that? $5. It's 9 rides. Mm-hmm. So now you have to take 9 rides in order to get your credits, or you lose them. So they're building in now they're playing with the passenger. They're playing the game with the passenger. You want to talk about gamification? That's gamification, because now, hey, I can use my $5 credit that I can use for a ride, but I have to use it 9 times if I have $45.
Do these companies really think that all riders are good? And there are no bad apples in the rider community?
I think they want people to complain.
Yeah, but
they're going to make more money because they're going to book more rides by offering certain credits and capping the credits with a 6-month issuance that you have to use it by, and you can only use the $5 per trip. As it says, credits issued by Lyft support are at a fixed amount of $5. What's
the upside for the driver?
That would make me assume that you could only spend $5 on a ride if you have, let's say, $25 worth of credits.
Okay, but what's the upside for the driver?
There is no upside.
Okay.
No upside to the driver. Who gives a shit about the driver? Who cares? I'm Lyft. I don't care about the driver. Fuck it. I want people using my platform more, because now you're locking them in. You're saying, hey, you got credits on your account, so they're not going to go to Uber. They're going to come on to you. You got to use it in 6 months, whether you use the service a lot or not. Most of the time, you're probably not going to be using the service as much, using Extra Comfort versus regular because of the costs associated with it. If you're using it at a regular time, maybe once in a while you want to upgrade. But yeah, I mean, it's genius on their part because screw the driver, because screw the passenger, and we're going to gamify them.
Yeah, well, they're gamifying it against the driver, I feel like, though, right? Because
for sure.
the only loser here is the driver again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and the highly rated is bullshit. The clean, larger, roomier car. I mean, look at that list, right? There are some cars in there that shouldn't be in comfort. There are actually some cars that should be in comfort that are not in comfort. So I don't know who makes up those lists. But when they do shuffle those lists, they omit a lot of cars that should be in comfort. But anyway, so here it is, folks. So if you do get dinged, if you're going to do comfort, if you're eligible to do comfort, keep your car clean, drive nicely and safely so you don't have some a-hole passenger complain about you, trying to get $5 out of it. In the meantime, right, ruin your day, and yeah. So,
I like how it says, we'll deliver your Lyft credit to your account if you indicate that you experienced a problem with your driver conduct, driving style, or a car concern. So they're already pinning it on drivers saying, yeah, it's the driver's fault. I'd be like, yeah, I ordered an extra comfort and I got a Toyota Corolla. How is that extra comfort?
Well,
I guess what? And guess what? At that point, I get a credit.
Yeah, so the writer doesn't know, but the writer doesn't know about that list. That's like Hocus Pocus list, a list of comfort cars, right? The writer goes, "How is this comfort? My legs are squashed in the back of this Corolla." I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's go talk to Lyft. But then they'll ding the driver. They go like, "Oh, the car was this and it's not comfortable or whatever." I don't know, man. This is like, I don't know.
I mean, the reality is, though, it's not like it's going to be a lot. I mean, extra comfort is not that much more than standard to begin with. So I just looked up something from where I am to downtown Buffalo, and the standard price is $34.99 and the extra comfort price is $38.50. So that's not really that much when you think about it.
Yeah, I know, but after the driver, as you know, sometimes comfort pays less than standard. So it's all hocus pocus.
So then when you complain to Lyft about your extra comfort when it's less, you actually get a negative credit. Oh, you owe us $3 more.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I got my knees crushed in the back of this thing.
Oh, too bad. You owe us more.
Yeah, too bad you owe us more is right.
But either way, it's a way to screw the driver because they're going to be even worse at it when it comes down to it. So if you live in one of those few cities, let's see, San Fran, San Diego, Inland, Empire, Cape Cod, Charlotte, Hamptons, Portland, Nashville, Austin, or Salt Lake City, yeah, good luck. And I'm sure it'll roll out. But sure. I don't think it's about them issuing credits. Because again, the money doesn't mean anything because it's going to either one, you're not going to complain and they pocket the difference. Two, if they complain, if you don't use it in 6 months, they pocket the difference. If they do, they get X amount of rides out of you, probably more so because again, they're going to, if you have ride credits and you can only use, let's say $5 at a time, you might have 3 or 4 rides that you're going to use. You're probably going to use that on Lyft over Uber. So that means they're going to get you a repeat customer. So it's smart for them. I mean, but screw the driver. Screw him.
Yeah. Well, throw the driver under the bus. That's all. Yep. That's all good. Anyway, all right. Let's go.
So with that being said, let's move on. But yeah, just a stark warning when it comes to that. Just be careful, please, out there when it comes to these extra comfort. Keep the car clean, all that good stuff. And, unfortunately, even if it's not your fault, somehow they're going to make it your fault.
Well, with this,
unfortunately, that's the way it is.
Yeah. So,
all right. With that being said, let's move on, though. Let's talk about Uber Cash. It is rolled out.
One of our viewers did it. He did it in Los Angeles. Ooh. He did a trip in Los Angeles.
Not too far from you, huh?
Yeah, he did. It was like, and then I got this email literally, I don't know when it was, yesterday, I think yesterday morning. So Uber cash trip potential problems. All right. Well, we talked about the Uber cash trip that I'm not going to do it. You can opt out. FYI, Chris, I check my app every day. It's not getting toggled on.
Well, that's because you have a special. That's because you have a special app. Don't you remember when we were doing this little target from back in the day? Everyone's like, "Hey, I have a different version number than you."
Chris,
you're like, "Oh, the Sergio app, the special Sergio app."
Fucking Chris. Okay.
Here you go. You're opted out. But what about all the other drivers who opted out on it? Actually, no. You know what? Honestly, the reality is I don't think that they will switch it on from off to on unless it's an actual update. If there's an update, that's more chance when it's actually about to update. Clearly, you want to pay attention, but usually they do roll out weekly updates, or very often there's some sort of update to the app. After you do update the app, that is when I would look at it and see if it's toggled on or off. It seems like they'll mess with the settings more during that time.
Well, the other thing is
like
maybe like, is this not available in, let's say, Orange County, but it's available in LA County, which it is. Then, if you change counties, maybe drive between the two counties, maybe it'll just toggle on and off. I don't know. So anyway, check the preferences, folks, because they have a tendency of turning this thing back on. Anyway, so this driver did a trip. He goes, "Hi, Sergio. I wanted to share something that happened on a recent trip here in Los Angeles. I picked up a ride through Trip Radar, Chris. Cash trip through Trip Radar.
Cash Radar.
And everything went smoothly. The passengers were visiting from Spain, and we had a nice conversation along the way. So far, so good. When I dropped them off, they asked about payment. I was under the impression that cash trips weren't active yet. Well, sir, they were obviously active.
Oh, yeah.
You accepted it. You got matched on Trip Radar. I said, did you take a screenshot? Because I said, maybe on Trip Radar it's not indicating that it's a cash trip. Because, there are tricks of the trade, you know what I mean? But he says, I didn't take it. I don't know. I just accepted it because it was an okay trip. I'm like, okay, fine. So it wasn't until, so cash trips weren't active yet, though, and thought it would be handled cashless because he's thinking this is not a cash trip. He didn't even know. So it wasn't until I went to swipe and end the trip that the app told me to collect cash. Thankfully, the riders were honest and came back to pay. What could go wrong with any of this? That said, it's concerning because a dishonest passenger could easily walk away and leave us unpaid. Now, Uber says, don't argue with the rider. They will make you whole. You will have to chase it in Philippines somewhere, but they will give you your money back. I'm not sure. What frustrated me was not being clearly informed that it was a cash trip until the very end. But I may have missed a notification on the Trip Radar screen. I will toggle it off now. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up to be extra careful with these cash trips. Okay, he sent me the receipt for that trip that he did. And here it is, folks. $8.23 miles, 15 minutes and 38 seconds, $8.82 he got paid. Now let's switch our eyes to the right. This is the breakdown, the way the cash trips break down. $8.82 for the driver. Rider was charged $35.20, Chris. Now we know why they want to do these cash trips, bro.
You know what? This is because they want you to be pissed off by seeing how much they're actually taking from the trip. The driver makes $8.82, and you got now a negative $26.38 trip balance.
That you got to pay back to Uber. That's, you just collected for Uber. So Uber, hey folks, what's happening? Time to wake up. Forget the AI bullshit. Here's the problem. Remember, we tell you guys the driver knows one take rate. Chris, what is that take rate, Chris? Rider pays 100.
All drivers
makes 30.
Pay attention to what they make versus what the passenger paid. That's it. Nothing else.
Isn't it right here? It's pretty clear, right? Is there a breakdown of CI, insurance, and city tax and bullshit? No.
I'm sure it's down further.
No, it's
But
not down
that's
for no. This is it. This is. I asked them that. I said, send me the total thing. It's not down further, Chris. This is it. This is how it shows up in cash chips. Okay.
Oh, even better.
Even
Now
better.
you know why they want cash.
Okay, so yeah, because we have no
Because-
idea now. But that's okay. The idea is, what is Uber's take rate on this trip? Because on other trips, Uber's going to say, oh, but the commercial insurance and the city taxes and state taxes. Hey, Uber, why don't you break it down on these? Huh? Why don't you break it down on these? No?
You know what they say about cash? They don't tell Uncle Sam.
No. So let's do the math, Chris. $8.82 to $36 and what is it? 35.20.
Yeah.
So how much is that? Is that 70-30 for Uber? Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's 70-30 for Uber. Actually, it's more, 75-25 for Uber.
Yeah, it's about 75, yeah. But you know what's crazy is you know what's crazy? Now on top of this driver has to drive and make $26.38 more just to break back to zero.
Yeah.
You know what?
Wonderful idea, Uber.
You know what'd be fun? Just take here's the thing. Just take cash rides, pocket all the money, and have like a negative $5,000 balance.
So this is what I told this driver, and he goes, look, I can't do that, Serge. I'm a God-fearing Christian, honest man. I can't do it. I said this. So when you do finish the trip, right, they hand you the cash. In this case, $35.20. I go, F Uber. Why don't you just put $20 in there? Give yourself a $15 tip. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. So the driver can screw Uber that way. How's Uber going to know? How's Uber going to know? This driver could have tipped himself $15. If he put in $20 in there, on top of that, Uber would have sent this driver, he would have owed Uber a lot less. He would have owed Uber only $11.18 instead of $26.38, right? And how's Uber going to go chase those Spaniards, the tourists from Spain? What are they going to do? There's no credit card in there. How are they going to debit their account? What's going to happen? But I said, don't do it. Karma is a bitch.
I mean, they have. You're supposed to have a verified account. So if you have a verified account, they're probably
don't know. Tourists from Spain. Tourists from Spain.
All right, here's the thing. Dealing with cash, no matter what, let's be real. There's some shitty passengers out there, and there's definitely some shitty drivers out there. And we all know it's going to pose problems across the board because, as we just said, drivers could underreport things all day long. And I know nobody here will because everybody's really awesome about that. But the reality is there's going to be a lot of drivers who are going to be, a couple dollars off the top or something. I see somebody put in about counterfeit money. That's the other thing. Counterfeit money. What happens if you, first off, look to see if it's motion picture use, because it's very easy to buy a bunch of fake money on Amazon or something for motion picture use. It says it there where it says the United States of America. So you can tell. And then, the other thing, you might have to invest in one of those freaking little pens. So you got to actually pen it out. So now you have to be responsible on top of it more, because what the big thing is, what happens if you take the cash and you say, hey, I got to go to the bank and put this money in. And so I put the money in. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't take this. This is counterfeit. What are you trying to do? And then now you got to go back to Uber. What are they going to? They're going to be like, who gives a shit?
By dealing with money, right? You go try to get that money from Philippines, guys. But the point I'm trying to make here is, Chris, this is a pretty nice deal for our people at Uber. 75-25.
Yeah.
Isn't that the complete opposite of what we started at?
Very much so. Actually, I believe the original was not the original. The very original was 90-10. Wouldn't you love to be back at that point?
That will never happen. That won't happen. But
then when you and I started, it was 80-20, and you were grandfathered in. So when they changed it, I think it was 75-25, or 70-30. I don't remember that change. We were all grandfathered in, because we were already driving before that. That was in 2016. And I think they started like late 2016 or early 2017 or something like that. They changed it. And then they just changed it again and again and again.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck it. Everybody who's grandfathered in, you're not really. And then they went to upfront fares.
So, for all the people watching at Uber, what is Uber's take rate on this trip, folks? Well, I feel like it looks like 75-25 to Uber to me, because there's no other breakdown. So I'm like, hey.
Well,
exactly
that's how every
driver's
going to look at it. That's how every driver is going to look at it. Somebody had to pay 35%, or I mean $35. I only made $8.80. The rest went to Uber. That's what a driver is going to say. So they're going to be more pissed off because they're actually going to see that breakdown. Right now, they might not see it. They might be like, oh, like when a ride request comes in, you might say, oh, $8. You might look at a distance, you might look at time, who knows, and you say $8. Sure, I'll take it. Not realizing, how much they're actually paying.
We should charge Uber. We should charge Uber collection fee, something.
Service and handling.
Yes, exactly.
Like Ticketmaster. I'm an independent contractor, so I'm going to charge you fees on top of it. So
I mean, I just collected $35.20
handling fee, service fee, cash transaction fee.
Yeah, all kinds of shit.
By the way, that $26 that you took from me, it's slowly warped down. Now I only owe you $4.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, it's like, this is just a joke. And if you guys did not catch it when I read his email, the Spaniards in the car, the tourists, had a good time, got the ride, got out of the car, left. They left.
Yeah, but no. When he dropped them off, they did ask about the payment. So
yeah, but then,
they knew they had to pay.
He did not know. He did not know.
He didn't realize. Yeah. So this brings up another thing. What happens if you're not paying attention and you don't see that it's cash ride at the beginning? There should be somewhere on the screen, like at the bottom, that says cash ride. So you know the entire time.
Continuously. Right.
But here's seeing this receipt, seeing how it's 75-25, this makes me want to know, anybody else who's out there taking cash rides when it comes to Uber, check your receipts and send them to Sergio so we can see how much they're taking. Because my question is, are they taking more? There was somebody earlier in the comments, Armarca said when upfront fares went in, he noticed that the commercial insurance or the service fee that they took, or not service, but the amount that they took went up higher. So I said, send Sergio screenshots of your spreadsheets. And then, this makes me think, are they going to fudge the numbers more so where they can even take more? And so they might have a cash transaction fee that they're going to have on the other end where guess what? The cash transaction fee, now you're charging the rider more for the same ride if they would have just paid with a card. And that means the take rate's going to be higher like this, 75-25. So yeah, for all the people who may take cash rides, if you do or want to test this, take one for the team, then send your trip receipts just like this to Sergio, and we could see, is there a statistical difference between cash trips versus non-cash trips?
Yeah, do some trips. Look, for my money, this is knowing LA and knowing that time of the day, it's about 6 p.m. If the driver made $8.82 on this trip maximum would be priced about $22 or so for a regular X trip for the rider. This is an X trip, okay? I'm telling you, this is a cash cow for Uber. This is amazing amount of money. I mean, I hadn't seen 75-25 for a while. And look, how many red flags there are for this poor rider, okay? Tourist, Uber knows that. From Spain, Uber knows that. Oh, we'll just rip him. Uber knows that. We just pay the driver something that he will take. Uber knows that. And this is how you get to 75-25. Nice job, Uber. Take rates are going higher. And Daniel has a good point there. Whatever he said, I couldn't read it. But send me some dudes. If you're going to look, I'm not against you guys doing cash trips. I'm not going to do it. But if you do it willingly,
you gotta take one for the team.
Nope. I take for the team all the time.
Contributor that's in a cash town.
I ain't taking the team for this one. Period. I take for the team all the time. So this is the point. Uber's take rates are going to go higher or not. I probably can come up with a screenshot of a very similar receipt on a cashless trip. Cashless, where Uber breaks down, commercial insurance,
Yeah,
city
but
fees,
you know what?
this, and
The
that.
problem is we can't actually go off that. You know why? Because
Why?
the problem is we've all seen two trips that look the exact same, but they're vastly different in the amount paid to the driver and the amount paid from the passenger. So even if you took an upfront fare versus something like this that was, a very similar trip, you can't even compare it. The only way you can actually compare it is taking your upfront fares that are paid by card and transacted through Uber like that versus cash trips and see what the actual take rate would be that is different. So if the take rate is, let's say, 50-50, I'm going to be generous to Uber, 50-50 for an LA trip, which we probably know it's now 60-40 at this point. We'll just say 50-50. But then you're starting to see 75-25 on all cash trips. So that means then they're pocketing more money. They're charging the rider more money for using cash. And yeah, I would not put it past them to do something like that.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. My countryman. Email me, Sergio at therideshareguy.com. Okay. Gökhan Kazanç. Anyway, so that looks like a good take rate to me, Chris. I like it. Good job, Uber. The algo worked its magic on that one. Good job.
Oh yeah. As Mike Smith elegantly put it, this is only going to help people get more pissed off and put it into private ride territory. So yeah, I have a feeling, like I say.
What is it? What is the passenger algo called on Uber? I forgot.
I don't remember.
Maybe next week I'll remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, cool.
There's so many different things that they got. So many acronyms.
Yeah.
I mean, you got spinner times and other things. And
so good job, Uber. Algo worked its magic.
And some Explorer.
Yeah. Is that the cartoon thing that you're talking about? Cartoon game?
Yeah. The Explorer.
Oh, yeah.
What's her name?
Dora? Dora the Explorer. Yeah.
Dora the Explorer, yeah. There's those awesome acronyms. All right, with that being said, let's move on. Let's talk about the Lyft 7030 Hocus Pocus BS crap that they've been shoving down our throats saying, yeah, we're going to give you 70% if anything more. Problem is, what happens when you fudge the numbers from left to right and you don't really show it? So they said the problem was fixed the following week.
I pulled this out of the archives, Chris.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is from 2023.
Oh, okay.
So Lyft says, this is pretty simple, folks. So Lyft says, on average, Chris, on average, the external expenses on each trip, on average, is 24% of the rider fare, rider receipt. Okay? Before tips. Get it? So we have light pink up top, the Lyft Hocus Pocus 7030 guarantee part, and we have old Lyft in 2023. This is from the archives, Chris. It took me a while to find this, but I found it. All right. So rider receipt, 100%. Simple. Everybody follow? In dollars, it equals to $1. Okay. Less insurance, web hosting, transaction, credit card processing, taxes, city taxes, state taxes. It amounts to usually, on average, to 24%. Are we clear? Clear. 24% of the dollar is 24 cents on the right-hand column. Done. And then on the bottom one, you guys follow the numbers as well. 100 equals to $1, 24%, 24. That's where everything starts changing a little bit, okay? So the subtotal on both is 76%, which is equaling to 76 cents out of that dollar. Of the remainder, which is 100% again, right? Remember, guys, the 24% on average is the expenses, external expenses, on average again. So with the new Lyft guarantee, after that, your new number is 76 cents. Is it pretty clear to everyone? The 100% now becomes 76 cents instead of 100% becomes $1. 30% of that is 23 cents, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And 70% to the driver after external expenses comes to 53 cents. Done? Pretty easy? Yes? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the bottom. Original Lyft before the Hocus Pocus 70/30. Percentages. 100% equals $1. 24% on average, same as above, goes to Lyft. Subtotal 76 cents. Get it? Of the remainder, which is still 76 cents, on average, Chris, on average, the Lyft fee all the way to 2023 has been 12%. 12%. Okay? And fee to the driver was 88%. What happened after 70/30 showed up?
Pay cut.
I don't know. This is not my shit. This is from them.
Pay cut.
So now you guys understand how wonderful this 70/30 is?
Pay cut.
There you go. So Lyft take rate pre-2023 is 33%. This is of the overall number. And Lyft take rate jumped to 47% with the 70/30 guarantee.
Yeah, and that includes the quote unquote external expenses that they have to pay.
Yes. So what do you guys think about this? Pretty genius to me. That's because the external expenses number is a variable. Nobody knows what's in it. Well, it's supposed to be insurance, commercial insurance, web hosting. I don't know why I'm paying for Lyft's web hosting. Transaction processing, which is credit card fees, city taxes, state taxes, things like that. So, this clearly just puts the myth away. This is not, I did not put the spreadsheet together. This is from the archives. In fact, I looked back at the article that I wrote when they announced 70/30, and I was kind of critical, and I actually did not put this in my article. I missed it somehow. I went back to the article, Chris. I looked at it. I go, immediately, actually, I thought, oh, Lyft is going to make a killing now because external expenses could be anything. But when they presented me this, saying this is like an example, this is how it's going to work out, I'm like, oh, your take rate is going from 33 to 47%. Awesome. Super. So now you guys understand. There you go.
Yeah. And what's the beautiful thing about math, though, is you can always fudge the numbers in any way you want. So, even though the external expenses, that's still Lyft's expense. That's not anybody else's. It's Lyft's. It's Lyft's cost of doing. I mean, you're the one who has to carry the insurance. You're the one who has to carry the hosting. You're the one who has to do the transaction processing. You're the one who's got to pay the taxes. You're the one who's got to pay the tolls back. All these things is again just you. So in other words, it's basically what they're saying is, well, you know what? Now we're gonna, instead of being able to only take about 33% where the driver does make 67%, let's change that so we can make a little bit more profit, and then that brings it to 47%. So now the driver's only making 53%. Woohoo!
Yep. Exactly. Exactamundo. This is their stuff, not mine. They had sent me in that package with the embargo that we had. I remembered it. I looked at it. I'm like, oh, I didn't put that in my article. Well, I should have. But it kind of confirms everything. So, and then this one kind of, proves that point. Now, I received this again, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday. So first trip on the left, 10:06 a.m., August 30th. This driver actually asked me, he goes, how is it, how does Lyft do this? So I go, your starting point, Mr. Driver, is always going to be if the algo charged enough to not fudge the numbers, okay? His point was that how is it that on the trip that I got tipped more, estimated Lyft fee was very high. This is a common complaint that I hear all the time, Chris. They're like, when I get tipped, estimated Lyft fee is somehow higher. I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with it. However, I would like to point out this to everybody that's watching and listening. The trip on the left is, the pickup is 4.2 miles away. It's 10 minutes and 9 seconds in P2, okay? And the trip itself is 6.12 miles, 18 minutes and 29 seconds, okay? Everybody cool? The algo on this occasion did not charge the rider enough. They charge only $11.77. External expenses was $1.37. Estimated Lyft fee was 23 cents. The driver ended up with the tip getting paid $12.52. Without the tip, he got paid $10 approximately. The trip on the right has much shorter pickup time and distance, quite a bit, by 75% almost, okay? And the drop-off was basically less, actually, 4 miles and 15 minutes and 57 seconds. So the driver's question was, how is it that external fees on a shorter trip are more than external fees on a longer trip by miles and duration? I go like, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea.
I know exactly why, because the other trip that you took before that, you know, they lost all their money on when it came down to it, and then they're making it up for it on the next ride.
They didn't charge enough, right? Yeah.
It's not done on a per ride. It's done on a what passenger is going to pay for the other passengers' promotions or whatever it might be. So remember that.
Okay. No, it makes sense. But it also kind of makes sense that that external fee line item is just a variable of some sort, because this is, if anything, the external expenses on the left-hand screenshot should be a lot more. I mean, you're driving more. You drove, the total trip length is about 10.3 miles and duration is about 30 minutes. So in 10.3 miles and 30 minutes, things could go wrong a lot more often than on a trip that's only 5.2 miles and 19 minutes. Agree or disagree? The longer the trip, the more risk there is, period.
Yeah, but that's how good their algorithm is, that they can, again, we're making it seem like it's all done on a per trip basis, but the calculations are done every second. The thing is, they're looking at it as, okay, what passenger will pay the most, and how can we get them to pay the most? Well, that passenger over there isn't going to pay as much, so we can't. They have multiple algorithms, as we just talked about. They got the passenger algorithm and they got the driver algorithm. So they know what passengers are going to pay more versus what passengers will not pay more. And so they have to play this balancing game between who is going to offset the other person. And that's how it breaks down. So, everybody pays into a pool and they just throw these arbitrary numbers out there, and, that's what it is.
Well, I'm just going to Lyft has done really a lot of good things lately. And to me, they sold this as transparency. This is not transparent. And the screenshot we showed previously, it actually proves that their take rate has gone higher right there. Until Lyft in 2023, 33% Lyft take rate, because they only took 12% out of the remaining 100 after external expenses, which always averaged 24 cents on the dollar. With the 70-30 guarantee, with the same 24 cents or 24% out of a dollar expenses, average external expenses, Lyft take rate 47%. It just kind of says it right there, clear as day.
Yep. So welcome to the pay cut, depending on how they dress it. And so that's the beautiful thing there. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about should Uber be called in front of Congress like Delta?
It should. They should, without a question. Well, so we know what happened when Wendy's tried to pull that fast one on dynamic pricing on hamburgers. That didn't work out, did they? We know what happens when Walmart does it. We know what happens, look, dynamic pricing, I understand the method behind it. I understand that it creates supply. Some people will get ripped off I get it. I understand it. So they've been doing this in the airline industry forever, as you all know, probably know, which is, dynamic pricing. The last one that buys the last ticket is going to get charged a lot more than the guy that bought the ticket 2 months ago. Okay. Especially if it's a fuller flight, right? So Uber, like Delta, should testify to Congress. And I did the study on this, Chris, for LAX, and we're going to put all those, because I didn't want to send you 20 screenshots, but we're going to have to match them and put them in. What kind of algorithmic discrimination Uber plays on the rider when it comes to airport drop-offs, this is all about that. Uber, like Delta, should testify to Congress over pricing. God knows if we did not prove how many multiple times algorithmic wage discrimination on the driver's side. I don't know. I think a lot. And now we have to work on the algorithmic discrimination on the rider side. So Uber charges different prices for the same airport drop-off. So in this case, Chris, they put two phones side by side. I think people are watching our videos and then doing the same thing. They put two phones side by side in an airport where literally, the, let's say, Delta Airlines and Southwest Airlines were literally right next door to each other. When somebody inputted Delta, Uber ripped them off with like no abandon, and then they put Southwest Airlines. They wouldn't charge as much. And Lyft, they compared it to Lyft as well. Lyft pricing would not change. So Uber, for about 50 feet, door to door, was able to fluctuate pricing. So I actually wrote back to the author of this article. I said, I could help you with this, but they haven't responded to me yet because I think they had some holes in their article. But I go, I could prove, with proof. I could explain this to you, how that goes. And Delta testified before Congress, Uber should be next. A Delta executive discussed using AI to affect consumer pricing, and the move attracted attention from the lawmakers and the airline industry as a whole. Currently, approximately 3% of Delta's domestic ticket sales are governed by AI. What percentage of Uber's trips are governed by AI?
All of them.
All of them? But I'm pretty sure, yeah. By the end of 2025, the airline intends to increase that to 20%. What could go wrong with that picture? Speaking during the airline's recent earnings call, the CEO referred to AI tool as super analyst. Uber has the best AI tools on the planet when it comes to rideshare. Part of that called complete re-engineering of the pricing architecture. So let's go to the next screenshot. So we've seen dynamic pricing. We know what it does, right? It balances supply, demand, all good, all good. It's been around forever, for a decade plus now. So dynamic pricing is understandable when it's based on the journey, time of travel, distance, traffic, and type of car, but not by the carrier for which you're flying. The long excuse that Uber could use some airports is that it may take longer to get to one side of the airport than the other. For example, if there were no shortcut options at LAX, there are, and one had to go from Terminal 1 to enter the drop-off area and go all the way around the horseshoe, the other side, probably 20 minutes of slow morning traffic, to get to Terminal 8, that would be a justifiable difference in fare. This is where this article is incorrect, because this article did not figure out that the biggest hocus pocus on Uber's, and not as much on Lyft, but on Uber, it happens. You know, when you're I put in my drop off at LAX, there is a button that says skip. If you don't know your terminal, for example, okay, if you're not a frequent traveler, you don't know, and you put just LAX, and then Uber asks you which terminal, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8. We'll have a horseshoe. I will show this to you guys next week. I took all the screenshots. And so around the horseshoe, 1 is Southwest, 8 is United. The difference around the horseshoe, time-wise, could be sometimes 20 minutes, 30 minutes, literally. But luckily, there are shortcuts. The point is not that. The point is, when you say skip and you don't enter a terminal, you know what Uber picks for you, Chris?
Terminal 8.
No. Terminal 8 has a cutoff. So you can actually Terminal 8 is cheaper. Tom Bradley, which is at the bottom deep end, which is Terminal 4, which is the international, it picks you automatically that every single time, because that's the longest possible point. That's what it does.
Yep.
It figured that for you.
Speaking of, when I flew out of LAX, when I was there, that's where I had to fly out of, was Tom Brady International.
You didn't put your airline? You didn't put your terminal?
No, that's where it was.
Oh,
it was out
automatically, yeah.
So I had to go. You had to go to the next, terminal right there to check in, and then walk all the way back to Tom Brady, and the gate was there.
Yeah.
I knew exactly where I was going. So, but I used Lyft. I didn't use Uber when I drove. Or, I mean, when I went to LAX.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. So I'm going to prove this to you guys
cheaper.
with the LAX thing. It happens at LAX all the time, and some of the pricing you guys will see. And the way I tested this, I used my passenger app. I took the screenshots within a minute, so Uber cannot say, "Hey, everything could have changed." There was no surge in the valley where I took it, and everything. All the circumstances were the same. Uber was charging
you want to know
so
my
much.
fly in the wall moment here? You know how I always say I want to be a fly in the wall in the Uber boardroom when they're coming up with some of these things?
Yeah.
This is what was going on. They're like, "Hey, all right, how can we help? How can we figure out what passengers are going to be willing to pay more?" I got a perfect idea. And they go to the airport. Who are they flying? Are they going to be flying Virgin? Are they going to be flying Frontier?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't got enough money, so we can't charge them as much. Are they flying, one of the premier? Oh, then we can charge them more. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, let's get them. That's how we do the passenger.
Their algo is so good.
You got more money because you got a higher costing flight. Oh yeah, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you.
Their algo
Why
is
do you
so
think
good.
that they wanted to integrate with the flights? Because then they could see, oh, this person paid X for their costs, so now we can variable the price on what they're going to pay for you to get to and from the airport.
They probably know what you paid for your airline ticket too. So all I'm saying is that if you're going to LAX, if you're a rider, please pick your terminal. Otherwise, you're going to get ripped because it's going to pick the deepest part of the horseshoe as your drop off. You could be Southwest, which is the first terminal, which is the cheapest one. It should be the cheapest one according to time and distance. As soon as you go up the hill on Skyway, it's right there. Well, no, Uber's going to pick the Tom Bradley, which is deep end of the horseshoe. But I will show what I found out.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to do that for Buffalo, because Buffalo is literally it's just one strip. So
okay, do it.
They have the multiple terminals.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, not terminals, but they have the multiple airline carriers.
Do it.
But it's all a couple hundred feet. Because
this was one of those occasions. This article was because of that, because one of those occasions. So just order a trip.
That's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to look at these.
Okay, do you know what the first terminal is?
I don't remember.
Okay, just look at the schematic and then order a trip to the first terminal, order a trip to the second terminal, order a trip, like literally you're saying 50 feet.
It's literally just like a few hundred feet. The airport's not big. It's probably about like 1,000, 1,200 feet or something for the front. But that's it. So it just depends on the airline, the carrier. So if you got Delta, you're here. If you're United, you're all the way at the end. So I could just say, oh, Delta, and then I could do United and see what the difference is. Because they'll be like, oh yeah, there's you're going an extra 250 feet. Well, you know what? We're going to charge you $8 more.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what I did exactly for LAX. Southwest is first, Delta is next. 3 is also Delta. 4 is Tom Bradley International. 4, 5 is American. 6 is Alaska. 7 is United, and 8, the new one, is United as well. So I ordered a trip from the same point to all those, and the price shocks are eye-opening. So please,
so make sure you stay tuned for next week.
Yeah, it was really cool. After I read this article.
I'll have to do that so that I can see what it is. I'll do it on both Uber and Lyft. And then we can put the screenshots up if there's actually any difference or not.
Algorithmic discrimination on the rider end. It happens all the time.
Oh God,
so
yeah.
Should DK go in front of Congress and explain this shenanigans? Sure, why not?
Yeah, but he'll give the great words of Mark Zuckerberg, and what happened to Zuck? Nothing. So
nothing ever happens. Nothing.
I mean, he just had the water, but
yeah. Well, anyway, so we'll show you guys that next week. Let's go to the next one.
All right. With that being said, we're going to go to Uber and Lyft are approving the California drivers to be unionized. So, Sergio, what is that catch?
The catch is Uber and Lyft made a deal to accept collective bargaining and unionization rights for California gig drivers in exchange to receive for the House, to California Senate and House, to pass SB 371. That is the catch. So in a surprising deal that was somewhat brokered by Gavin Newsom, Uber and Lyft are going to let their 800,000 California rideshare drivers unionize and get collective bargaining rights, though drivers can still refuse to join the union. Next one. According to the union group SEIU California, there are now 800,000 rideshare drivers in the state, and that's 1 out of every 24 California workers who are at least sometimes gig drivers. And Uber and Lyft have traditionally been notoriously resistant to giving them minimum wage guarantees or any form of job benefits. Prop 22 exists, but it's a ceiling. It's not a guarantee. It's fair to be cynical when an Uber executive tells you that any move the company made is going to lower costs. On top of that, drivers are allowed to refuse joining the union. So it's also fair to be cynical whether these unionized drivers would have much power. No, because Uber and Lyft could simply hand more gigs to the non-unionized drivers and replace their drivers cheaply if faced with a threat of any kind of strike. Makes sense, doesn't it? It makes perfect sense. And on the next one, I think there is next one. It also is unclear how benefits would be applied across gig driver workforce, where some are in the union and others are not. And who knows what kinds of benefits these drivers would ask for in collective bargaining. This is a different kind of unionization than we are generally used to seeing. So Uber's California head of public policy, Ramona Prieto, said in the same statement that the deal is a compromise that lowers the costs for riders while creating stronger voices for drivers. Ramona, open invitation to you. Open invitation to you, Ramona. Come on down. The price is right. Open invitation. Let's discuss this one-on-one. Creating stronger voices for drivers, demonstrating how industry, labor, and lawmakers can work together to deliver real solutions that reflect how people live, work, and move today. Ramona, we're going to hold you to it. We're going to find out after this bill and SB 371 where the $1 million UI and UIM liability gets cut to $60,000 and $300,000 from $1 million. Let's see if you guys are going to lower the rider fares appreciably, as you said, to make it more affordable for everyone.
No, you'll just see the Uber fare creep up a little bit.
The take rate? Of course.
So let's say they're able to drop it. Let's just say they're able to drop the commercial insurance 50%.
And pass that on to the rider?
The take rate, Uber's take rate will go up by about 10%, and then they might pass the savings on to the passenger.
Yes, exactly what's going to happen. So under that hypothetical, if Uber's commercial, we don't know if it's going to, we don't know what it is. So let's go with 150%. It's up to Uber how much of that 50% to pass on to the rider. Exactly correct.
Yep. And will the driver make any more? Oh.
Who?
Actually, huh?
Who? No.
Actually, sorry, if you're now an advantage driver, you'll make exactly what you were making before. But if you're a standard driver, sorry, you made a 5% pay cut.
100%. You're making exactly what you were making before, because Uber lowered the fares before it showed up here about a month ago. They cut the fares by about 5%. Make it look like you're getting 5% extra when it did show up. So you're not making anything different. All right.
Oh, gotta love the double play that they got going on there.
No, it's like Nicole says. Okay, Nicole's still watching. Hold on a second. Sergio, pretty sure all drivers will units under whatever union become. Yeah, well, I don't know about that, Nicole. That one we have to agree to disagree. We've done our surveys. Not too many people want to be unionized, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Nicole says here still. The part of the bill that talks about who's active is just about we'll get into the details when the actual bill comes out. We did text back and forth yesterday. I texted you some stuff that I'm not showing today. There is Uber did a good deal in this. There is guidelines. Yeah. So in fact, we're going to show some quotes from Daniel, who's my man. Data analysis. It is no compromise. I've looked into it. Slanted heavily into gig company's favor. Hey, Daniel, why don't you come on next week? Not next week, when the bill is 100% out. Come on and explain to us, regular humans, what this is all about. Because I think you know it better than anybody, probably. Anyway. Okay, cool. And Mr. Gambit says they're not going to lower. Of course. Why would they? Look, your cost of insurance is going to come down. You can decide per trip, per person, per ID, whatever, how much you want to pass it on. That's all. It's moneymaker for them.
Exactly. Like I say, you might see the cost come down by 50%. So instead of, let's say, $10 for that ride, it's only going to be $5. But is the passenger actually going to get $5 in savings? No. They'll probably get maybe like $3, $2.50. So in other words, it's going to put more money into Uber's and Lyft's pocket.
I think so.
And again, the driver won't make anything more. All right, let's move on though. Let's talk about a lawsuit coming to Uber, talking about how Ohio is suing Uber for distracted driving when it comes to Uber and the gamification that they got going on.
This is very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. So a state of the motorcyclist who was killed last year after an Uber driver performed an illegal U-turn. How many of us have done that, Chris? Because the dumb shit rider or the Uber pin is, you get to the pickup and they're on the other side and they're looking at you, waving at you, but then they're supposed to be on this side of the street, right? Okay, yep. on the right side, right? Anyway, so how many times have we all done that? How many times a day millions of drivers do that just to, give the riders good service? And Uber never talks about that, of course. But anyway, the state of the motorcyclist was killed last year after an Uber driver performed an illegal U-turn, alleges in a lawsuit that the app used by its drivers causes them to be chronically distracted. I would attest to that, okay? But when you guys go play the GigU game, Cherry Picker game, you guys will understand what kind of pressure you're under with 5-8 seconds that you have to decide, and motivates them to violate traffic laws. I don't know about forces them or motivates them, but we have to do what we have to do. We have to double park. We have to do all kinds of shit.
Wait, whoa. How do you not understand motivate them to violate traffic laws? First off, trip radar.
Yeah.
A 10-second roller. Getting rides coming in, the forward dispatch trips. So when you're finishing up a trip, the ones that add to the queue, those are all designed to be distracted while driving because you're literally looking at it. I mean, how many people here saw that nurse driver footage on Turo? She was literally staring at her phone for a ridiculous amount of time. I'm surprised that she didn't get into an accident before that.
You know what I expected on that when you sent it to me? A head-on collision. I didn't expect it to run off the road.
Yeah, luckily that's all it was.
Yeah.
But it could have been so much worse. And it's the same thing when it comes to these apps. They're designed with the bells and the whistles and the dings and the dongs and the happiness and the payoffs and the gamification, the gambling aspect of it. That is, what has been built into it. And then on top of it, just the way you're driving. Again, a Waymo will not park at a spot that it's not supposed to.
Nope.
And you get 2 minutes. Yeah. But when it comes to Uber driver, damn you if you're not literally picking up the person 2 inches when you're triple parked on a 6-lane highway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is sad, but that motorcyclist died. His fiance was badly injured. So the family is saying that the app incentivizes Uber drivers, the lawsuit says, to violate traffic laws in order to minimize the duration of trips and to fit more trips into a given work period. The attorney who filed the lawsuit, Brett Powell, declined to comment. Uber Technologies did not respond. Lloyd has filed a separate lawsuit against Handy, seeking more than $250,000 for medical expenses and other damages. That's the driver. The lawsuit says Uber requires its drivers to use the app to control all aspects of their duties, correct? Including notification of a ride request and acceptance of those requests, correct? Also, if a driver doesn't follow a route prescribed by the app, according to the lawsuit, the driver doesn't receive additional money. That's not that correct. And extra time spent driving. Completing a route quickly can maximize a driver's income. That's a fact. I mean, the more trips you do, especially if you have a quest going or things going like that. Yeah, I mean, when I used to drive, bro, the shit that I used to do just to get the trip done or go to the right pickup, because the rider can complain about you. They go like, oh, this dumb shit doesn't even know where I'm at. Well, you dropped your pin in the wrong place, you dumb shit. It's not up to me. I've done thousands of trips. This is your 4th Uber trip. Learn where to stand. But that's because we know the companies pick the rider side. They don't pick the driver side. But this is an interesting lawsuit, actually. This is opening a can of worms. They're suing Uber for distracted driving, causing distracted driving to drivers. And on that part, I agree. Distracted driving is everywhere. Trip radar and all types of different trips now with cash trips and exclusives and this and that and that. I mean, we got to look at the phone. We got to. If we don't, we can't make money.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, and then what may come from it, if it does.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about, speaking of Waymos, Dara says they are more efficient.
Dara, of course, is going to say that. So I did send an email, Uber, to you and to the applicable parties. At least Lyft is, optically or publicly saying that we care about the autonomous vehicles. Next week, we're going to have a big ass segment on my last article. We received data from Gridwise. Like I said, for behind the wheel, if you're in one of those 4 or 5 cities that AVs are available and your earnings are cut in half already, even with limited scale, email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. I would like to talk to you. But we did receive solid data from Gridwise, our data partners, and hopefully we'll have Ryan Green on next week. It's irresponsible for a CEO of a company whose company is built on the driver's blood, sweat, and tears to say shit like this. Okay? Shit. This is garbage. The average Waymo robotaxi completes more trips per day than 99% of Uber drivers. Yeah, because they don't decline the garbage, Dara. And they also can work 22 hours a day, Dara. I mean, this is such a boneheaded remark. Waymo AVs complete more daily rides than 99% of human drivers, Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi said. The stat is among early results from Uber's Waymo partnership, which is AVs in Atlanta and Austin. Uber has to prove that self-driving cars, blah, blah, blah. Uber's gig worker drivers have some stiff competition from self-driving cars when it comes to productivity. You send me, we said this a million times, Dara. You send us a trip that's worth taking, we're going to take it and do it. You said it. If the price is not right, it's on you. It's not on the driver. You do not expect a driver to accept everything like you, the way you want it, to be as productive as a Waymo, do you? So anyway, Uber, I sent you an email, attach my latest article, all the data, and we're going to talk about this next week, folks. Next week. Driver's Corner, show up. Please show up. We're going to put up the article. We're going to look at all the data Gridwise gave us. There is a distinct trend. And in this case, the trend is not your friend. It does not look good, even at limited scale, where AVs are in about 4 or 5 cities already. But for a CEO of a company, 230 billion, built on the backs of drivers, to say some garbage like that, what kind of comparison is that, Dara? I mean, I'm sure you're some Wharton graduate with an MBA from somewhere. Obviously, they're going to be more productive than a human.
Well, more productive.
That's the whole idea, Dara.
Really better. I mean, look at what happened in San Francisco the other day. A Waymo was found at fault to hit the bus.
I don't know. Did I hit the bus, or did the bus hit the Waymo?
No, Waymo hit the bus.
Waymo hit the bus?
Waymo was at fault.
Is it confirmed?
Yep. You
Anyway,
sent me that.
so, look, man. Anyway, so I sent you an email, Uber. I sent you an email, Lyft. Lyft is trying. Lyft has the autonomous AV panel, it's called, coming up in Atlanta. I don't know when, October. I would love to be part of it. I emailed you guys that. Collecting 20 drivers, Lyft Kool-Aid drinkers in a room and asking them, what should we do? We're going to put out autonomous vehicles. It's all good for optics, Lyft, but it doesn't do shit, right? I have some solutions I want to talk to you guys about. And on the other hand, Uber doesn't even blink an eye about getting new partnerships every single day to replace their human drivers. Every single day, there's a partnership with Uber. So in that sense, I asked Uber, Sachin, Andy Mack. Well, Andy Mack, I think, is in charge of the AV revolution. Why don't you guys come down? Tell our audience, you guys, right, the largest podcast in the nation. Tell us what your plans are for the drivers who are you're about to replace, who are about to lose their livelihoods. Talk to them like a human. Explain to them what your plans are. What is it? What are you going to do? Or you're just going to keep signing partners and then replace drivers. Nobody cares. So I would urge that, be human, show up and explain to the community what you're going to do. We don't expect much, obviously. So.
True. All right. With that being said, let's move on to our last topic, and that is Zach. Zach drives fast. If he's still here, I don't know, but if you are, put a comment in. And he's breaking some tipping records out there. He's got his menu. He's got his menu.
Do you see what's sticking in front of the menu there? I taught him that because he didn't have that. That's a barf bag.
Oh yeah, no, that's the smart move right there. That is the, if you're driving at night and somebody's feeling a little woozy in the back because they had a little too much to drink, that can save you a lot of headache.
In fact, that may even be too far because he pulled the seat forward. I can tell. So guys, gals, when you drive in drunk hours, you have to have one at every hole that you can put one in because quicker is the reach, because when it comes, and you don't want projectile in your car.
But here's a tip. Sometimes at night, they don't see those and they're drunk and they don't pay attention.
You hand it to them.
If you have any sort of inkling, this person's a little too far off, hand them one. Absolutely. Actually, just physically hand them one and say, look, you need it. Try to let me, or if you're going to throw up, let me know. I'll try to pull over. If it just comes out of nowhere, it goes in here because I'm going to save you $150. And they're like, oh man, thanks. Hey, cool. So that's all you got to do. You hand them to it and you're good to go.
Yeah, that's one. I don't know. I cannot read his menu, but if your eyesight is good enough to read it. William, next week.
Ride menu is, he's got a ride menu.
Hold on one second. Chris, 1 second. Okay, William, I completely and utterly disagree with your statement. You're one of those drivers that is looking at the end of the tunnel and seeing the light, and you're thinking it's 5 to 10 years away for full autonomy and every Uber driver's utilization rate collapsing by 50%. Go read that article. Look at the data in there with limited supply at the moment. Come on next week. Let's debate this topic because it is not 5 to 10 years or 15 years away, William. I don't know. That light you see at the end of the tunnel, William,
some areas
is coming straight at you to crush you, and that's the train. It's not the light at the end of the tunnel.
The thing is, some areas it could be.
I'm talking major metropolitan cities, major cities.
It's
I'm
going to be
talking where he is at Cleveland, maybe in some suburb. I'm talking LA. All the major metropolitan cities are all going to have Waymos. That's where 90% of the trips are. The trips are not in North Dakota where you drive 20 miles to pick someone up. It's all of it is in LA. All of it is in SF. All of it is in Scottsdale and Phoenix and Charleston and wherever they are. They're all going to be there. Boston's and this and that. And when people say this to me without having any facts whatsoever, without having any data, without having any idea about the scalability of these things, it drives me nuts because I know they put their head in the sand and they go, it'll be fine. Okay. It's not going to be fine. But anyway, so let's see the menu.
All right. Either way, the ride menu, you got a few different ones. You got quiet and awkward. So he's going to shut up and drive you and pretend like he's not here. Zach's Wild Tales, with the good, the bad, the ugly. He's seen it all. If you want to hear about my wildest rides, that option's for you. Therapy. Need bad advice? I'll be your unlicensed therapist for the duration of the ride. Cartoons. Give the ride character by jamming out your favorite tunes. For the tourists, as a Bellington local of 15 years, I know all the best spots. Whether you're looking to do something outdoors, get a beer, grab a drink, or have a meal, I'll point you in the right direction. So that's the ride menu, and then the freebies, which is on the other side. So snacks. Have a look in the treat bag located in the floorboards of the back seat. If something looks good, help yourself. Bottle of water. Stay hydrated with a complimentary bottle of water. If you'd like one, let me know. Fast charge your phone. Lightning USB C available. Fast charge device. Just ask for the cable if you need it. Request a song. I'm not about to serenade you, but I do have music subscription. If you can't get the song out of your head, request it, and I'll gladly play it for you. Then the FAQs. Can the car drive itself? Yes. If you'd like to see, let me know. Is the car fast? You could say that. And can I request you again? Unfortunately, in most cases, no.
Yeah. So that's his menu.
So,
I think it's pretty good.
I mean, a nice little menu. We've seen these before. So he probably got that from a couple of those. Now, he also lives in Washington. So he gets the Washington state rates. So being able to have snacks, bottle of water, those types of things to be able to provide, you could actually provide. Back in the day when we started 2016, that was actually one of the things. Oh, why don't you bring a bottle of water? You were actually getting paid pretty well. I remember taking a few trips and I'm like, I felt like I was ripping somebody off. Now I take a look at a trip and it's like, who's getting
I'm getting ripped off.
Yeah. So how it's changed. But so it's kind of funny. And
wasn't my idea about the snacks and drinks. I told him, don't do that. Okay. Don't do that. But barf bags for sure. But he's at 40% tip. And folks, if you guys know Washington State or Seattle rates are for riders, oh my God, they are up there. And on top of that, he's getting tipped 40% of the time, Chris. That's pretty sick, right? Nice. Because he thinks it's because of this. And I said, okay, so you have FSD in your car. He has full self-driving in his Tesla. I said, why don't you do this? Why don't you put it on FSD, add to your menu, extend your feet, and then I'll give you a foot massage or something like that. And he was like, he called me yesterday. He goes, F Uber. I go, what is it? He goes, oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. I go, you're saying F Uber with your rates? I go get away from me. You just disappeared. Go do some trips. But again, shows that drivers will complain about anything.
Yeah. So either way, that's good. He's putting Sunshine Man now Snowman, into a corner. They might have to have a tip off, see who's getting more. So we'll see.
I need to check with him to see how his tip rates are in Colorado.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like 50% in Charleston.
Yeah, it's a little different though in Colorado.
A little different crowd. Yeah.
different,
but
different
crowd, knowing
weather too,
and knowing him.
All right.
I'll still think he's. Oh, so I have to do a PSA. This is money, folks. We're gonna give you money. So now everybody woke up now. They all woke up.
I like
money. Here we go. We're gonna give you money. The first 25 that shows up to this. You guys ready? Listen. PSA, public service announcement. All right. Oh no, wrong page. I have to go to the web page.
What the hell? I want to know how I can make my money. I like getting money.
Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is California Rideshare Driver EV Incentive Workshops. I will be there next Wednesday. What is that next Wednesday? The 10th? No, 11th. Wednesday the 11th. Okay, I'm going to read this as is.
No, it's the 10th.
It's the 10th?
Yeah. Today's the 2nd.
8, 9, 10. Right, the 10th. Okay, this is downtown LA. I'm going to be there, but this has nothing to do with Uber and Lyft. Listen to this, guys. California Rideshare Driver EV Incentive Workshops. Join us for a paid cash in-person workshop to help shape the future of EV incentives for rideshare drivers in California. You'll have the opportunity to provide input on program design, share your experience, and help ensure the program meets your needs. What we will discuss during this meeting, during this 4-hour, it's only 4-hour workshop, program administrators will provide more details on the program, EV incentive dollar amounts, who will be eligible, how drivers will apply, driver concerns and questions about EVs and EV charging. We value your time and expertise. The first 25, only the first 25 workshop participants will receive $100 stipend for attending. Lunch will also be provided. These workshops are part of a new EV incentive program focused on supporting Uber, Lyft, and Hop, Skip, and Drive drivers. This has nothing to do with Uber, Lyft, and Hop, Skip, and Drive, but you guys can come talk about how shitty their incentives have been. Uber, Lyft, and Hop, Skip, and drivers in the transition to zero-emission vehicles, hosted by CalSTART, Center for Sustainable Energy, and the California Public Utilities Commission. It is downtown in the CPUC building. If you're interested, email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. I will email you the link for registration. Only the first 25 will get the cheese. Not more than that. So I'll be there from 9 to 1. We'll go have some lunch, talk about stuff, give them ideas how an actual EV program should work. In fact, if you're driving a rental, this is going to be the perfect time. The amounts, I'm told, the benefits of these programs is about $6,000 to $10,000 to purchase an EV. It's going to be appreciable, folks. So if you're interested in the topic, if you're an already EV driver, you're looking to upgrade, if you're an ICE driver, you're going to EV, come give us your feedback. And get $100 and eat a free meal. Done. There we go. So I'm going to repeat this again next Tuesday, obviously. And I want to see 25 of you there on Wednesday, September 10th, 9 a.m. Done.
All right. Sounds good, Sergio. With that being said, that's the end of the show. A lot of good topics. Yeah. Probably pissed off quite a few people.
Sponsor this.
But with that being said, we are going to head out today and enjoy. So get out there, make that money, and we'll see you guys next week.
That's right.